So just a few things that are going on before we have our speaker. Next Wednesday, we have a movie screening. It's going to be Divergent, so it's kind of a hot movie right now. And that's going to be at 2 p.m. We also have stargazing, so we're going to hope the weather holds out for that. That is next Wednesday, August 27th. And that's going to be at 7 p.m., so you can come, meet out on the lawn, and look at the stars. And then we have Mike Moran, who's a local radio show host. You might recognize his name from Manchester. He is going to be coming on Thursday, September 4th at 6:30 too. So those are some of the things coming up that we hope you can come to. And there's more information about that over there. Also, you might notice on your chairs there are evaluation forms. You get a chance to fill those out. You can put them in the box over there, and that helps us out. So tonight we have Hal Levin, and he's going to be talking to us about Craigslist and eBay for beginners. So he's open to questions, so we're going to have a nice informal talk and learn the ins and outs of selling and buying.
Well, if I know those are evaluations, I would have snatched them all up and filled them all out.
No more for us.
Hi, you're in the right place, and we're going to just go over the basics of using eBay and Craigslist. And the format is really informal. My name is Hal Levin, and just, I put it in the name. I am not an expert. I have used Craigslist and eBay extensively, but I don't consider myself an expert. I started using these lists because, like you, I'm in a family where parents got elderly and we had houses that closed, and what do you do with all that stuff? And you just hate to, like, you can give some away, and how do you sell it? And so I found that Craigslist worked for certain things, and eBay worked for other things, and it never ceases to amaze me at what people will pay for things that I have no.
Speak up a little bit.
Sure. It never ceases to amaze me what people will pay for things that I couldn't care less about. And so that's how I got started on it. And there are certain things that work way better on Craigslist and certain things that work excellently on eBay. And I want this to be interactive, so please, if you can't hear me, I'll speak up. And if you have any questions at all, just chime in. And seriously, I'm hoping that this will take about an hour, or maybe a little bit longer, and we'll get through the whole thing. And the plan is I'm going to explain it to you, and then I actually have some real items that I will list, one on Craigslist, and I'll list one on eBay, things that I need to get rid of, and maybe I can make $1 or $2. And, okay, so we'll start off with eBay, which is a little more complicated. And I don't know, how many people here have actually used eBay? So some of you have an idea. Basically, I'm going to go through that. I'm going to get you through the whole thing. What eBay is, it's an online international store. You can buy things and you can sell things. And when you list something, anybody who goes on the website anywhere in the world can buy it if that's what you want to do. You never meet the buyer or the seller, and only in extremely rare cases, I suppose. The complete transactions are done online. There are fees that are associated with it. It costs money to list things on eBay. They take a percentage of the action when you sell something, and but it's worth it if you want to get rid of or buy something. And it is relatively secure for buying and selling. If you're a buyer, whether you use a credit card or PayPal, and if you're a seller, the same thing works. And it's rare that you find someone who said, I got something on eBay and I really got screwed. Because the way it works, if you're not happy and you go to the eBay customer service guy and you screwed somebody, you're pretty much done on eBay. They run a very, very tight ship, and they really don't allow anybody to do anything that's not up and up. And I will list the real item, and I hope to be able to answer all your questions. Other things that you need to know about eBay, that's different from other things, is you set the price. You can, there's really three ways that you can sell things on eBay. You can say, buy it for, you know, want to buy this pen, it's going to cost you $1. You can say, it's an auction, and you can start the bidding at $1. And then, you know, if anybody wants to pay $1 and somebody wants to pay $1.50, the price will go up. And there's a time limit, and the highest price at the end of the time limit is the owner, like an auction. The third way, which I generally don't understand, and I'm not sure why people do it, is they have a secret number, a reserve number, and you bid on it, and until you hit that number, you can't own it. And so I avoid that at all costs. And the item that I'm going to list today, I'll have a minimum price, and if somebody buys it for that price, fine. And if others who are looking at that item think it has more value, they will bid it up. And usually the time limit, unless you change it, is about 7 days. And you can dictate the terms. And I generally try to keep it simple. Selling items, I will only ship it to continental United States. It just makes it easier. I don't have to fool around with international shipping and figuring out what it costs to get something to Hawaii or Alaska. And every once in a while, someone will say, I'm in Canada, can you sell it to me? And sometimes I say no, and sometimes I say, yeah, but it's going to cost you this, and they understand. And again, it's a set time limit, and you really don't want to anger a buyer or a seller, because they will blackball you, and you will see when we get to the website that there's, you know, a number of stars by the seller or the buyer, and you know if they're good or not. And if you don't, and you shouldn't use somebody who's not reputable. The item that I'm going to sell is this old Campbell's soup box. Not really sure where it came from, but I know for a fact that it has some value, and I'll show you how we're going to do this.
So how did you determine the value of this to know?
I'm going to show you.
I'm going to start the bidding.
I'm going to show you.
Oh, okay.
At least I hope I'm going to show you. So I guess I should go back just because somebody asked the question. The mouse isn't working because the paper isn't working. The actual, for eBay, the website is www.ebay.com. And when you sign into it, which I have already done, it will ask you for your username and a password. My username is my name, and my password is secret. And so, but it's very simple to do that. And then you come up to this page. And this is the main thing. So what I'm going to sell is that Campbell's soup box. And how much is it worth? I haven't got a clue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for, see if there's somebody else who's selling one or something similar to it. Oops. And there, there are, I don't know how many items, but I'll just scroll down. You can see there's just all kinds of things for people who collect the Campbell's soup stuff. Quite frankly, I don't know why. But they do, okay? Anyhow, so I saw right here this antique Campbell's soup, pork and beans, Camden, New Jersey, advertising wood box dovetail. Somebody wants $155 for it, or the best offer. Okay? I guess if you're a collector, that might mean something to you. And I actually have already looked at this thing before, and this would be the only one on eBay. And so I just to look at this to see how someone else is selling something very similar, I look and see what the category is. And it's in collectibles, advertising, food and beverage, soup. There's all these different categories, and I'll show you how you find those things. And if you click on this, I'm not going to click on it. It means you bought it for $155. You can add it to your cart if you're gonna continue shopping, or you can make an offer, say, hey, I'll give you $75 for it tomorrow. And they may or may not take it. And most of the sellers and buyers use PayPal, and I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with PayPal. It's, it's a one step more secure than your credit card. And so if something happens, there's no chance of anybody taking money out of your account. And it's the way I always do business on this is with PayPal. And for instance, this, you can see here, shipping is $21.36. And I happen to know that's realistic because I took my box and put it in a cardboard box and went over to the post office a couple of days ago and said, how much would it cost me to ship this to California? Because I figured that's the highest number. And $22. So that's the way that works. So, yeah.
I used to list things for my husband in his own business, so it's been about 3 years now. And the biggest problem for me trying to do it, I think, is you almost have to pack it first. Go to the post, because your packing material is going to weigh something.
Exactly.
So you have to get a picture and take it to the post. It's quite a bit of trouble.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
right.
not...
If you're going to sell a product, somebody's going to know how much does it cost for me to get this in the mail. So you've got to take the product, either put it in an envelope, or if it's a map, or if it's a box like this. I searched around, found the cardboard box that was the right size, and I went to the post office, and I said, I'm going to ship this to somebody, the guy at the post office knows me, and I said, how much will it cost? And he said, $22 for continental United States. And so, yes.
And then you go home.
And then I go home.
And you list it.
Right, right. So,
Because I made a mistake once of guessing that this item, I forget what it was, but it was small. I guessed on the shipping, and I really got burned because the shipping was,
more than
I
that.
wound up not earning anything on what I sold, basically, because I didn't include enough on the shipping.
Right, and there's two ways of doing shipping, because everything on eBay is shipped. You can do it like this guy has, shipping $21.36 standard shipping, or you can sometimes you can say, instead of having the price being $155, you may say it's going to be $176, shipping included. And so there's some strategy that you use as a buyer. And if my box looked just like this box, and I wanted to sell it, I might list it for $145. I mean, I have no attachment to this box. I don't know where it came from, and it's in my garage.
Hal, is there a way to look at things that have actually already sold?
No, once it's sold, it's gone. It's history. There's no real way to look at it that I'm aware of.
You can look
There
at the
is.
activity, though, can you?
There is, in the left-hand column, it says completed listings. Now scroll right on down.
All the way to the bottom?
No, wait a minute,
Okay,
okay,
yes.
go ahead and
I think I
The
may,
screen
if
you're
I
on
go back
before.
one page.
yeah, the screen you're on before.
Yeah.
Right there towards the bottom, oops. Just a little ways down from there, just a little ways down. One more. Completed listings.
Yeah, you can see what they are.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I'm glad I came today.
Now, your box may not be up there. but-
Yeah, well, I know there's another one that's similar, not quite as nice as the one I have for $25, and there's another one for $35.
So
And
that's-
again, it also depends how you list it. If it's, Campbell soup box, or Campbell soup wooden box, or soup box, and so. Anyhow, so let me go back one more now. I'll show you how I'm going to list this thing. And any ideas you have to make me look smarter? is really appreciated. Okay, so I want to sell an item right here. So I click on that. there are lots of different ways of doing this. It doesn't know that I'm here. I hope I remember my password.
Write it down.
What's it, just a joke that somebody find. Well, I did the same password as you did, dot, 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 dot. It may work, I hope it does. There, okay. So, the way I like doing it, and there's lots of different ways, I will put in here, vintage Campbell's soup box.
Wooden box.
Yeah, I like that better.
Probably in a wooden home. You said no words about
If you see any typos, please stop.
Boston, yeah.
And then, so now I get to select a category. I mean, there's just bunches of them. And I know in this one, that what someone else did, they went to collectibles, and then the next step was advertising, food and beverage, and soups. There's actually a category for this. So I click on that, and then continue. You can sell your paper towels. And you can see there are charges. If I want to put a subtitle, it's going to cost me 50 cents. I don't see any reason for
What
this.
do you mean by a subtitle?
Oh, it would be something like very rare item, or something like that. Condition, you have two choices, new or used, and this is obviously used. Condition description. And what I'm going to say, because I have a lot of pictures that I'll put, the pictures portray its condition. Oops, that's not what's called portray. And then add photos.
How do you add photos?
I'll show you. I'll do it right now. You take, first of all, before I came here, I had a digital camera and I took a bunch of pictures of it from different angles. And then I loaded them onto my computer. And,
Where's the part of that?
okay. Do you have any grandchildren or children? It's one of those things that is so simple. A 14-year-old can do it. Well, you have to have a 14-year-old in your house to do it. And that's how I do it. I call up, Hannah, I got pictures on my camera. How do I get them? So, but basically, depending on your camera, like the one I have has a little chip in it. Little thing. I take it and stick it in my computer and then it loads them on. So,
Are the pictures free?
yeah, you'll see. So I knew I had them someplace where I could find them. And I want to be able to see them. So that's my first photo. And I want to add a second photo. So I took a picture of pretty much every angle. So well, I don't want anybody to look at this thing and get it at home and go, well, I didn't know it had pen marks on it or that it was, you know, worn out or something. I don't know why this keeps collapsing.
Are you gonna put them all on?
I'm going to put them all on.
I can't do it all at once.
I don't know. Maybe,
I think you can.
we'll see, we'll see.
It's not that hard to do it individually.
Yeah, well,
So what you do is you put.
I have to make this stretch out to an hour, so.
He wants us to get our money's worth.
Okay, so I have, you know, all the different views of it, and now you push upload, and it uploads them. And the other thing I might say, to answer your question, is that depending on your camera, it's a whole lot easier if you take them at a low resolution, they load up a lot faster. In other words, if I'm like taking pictures on a trip someplace of the scenery, I take them at extremely high resolution. But if I'm taking pictures to load up here, I take them at a low resolution, they just go much, much faster.
Just take the pictures.
I don't, that has to do with how many pixels each picture is and the size of the file. Typically on most people's, like on my the camera here, they take pictures that are 2 or 3 megabytes each. When I take pictures for these, they're about a half a megabyte. They take up less space, and so it's just faster. Okay, so now I have that, and then specifying the country or region of manufacture can help streamline and, you know, I'm going to put, I'm not even going to do anything, I'm just going to remove that, all this stuff, because it just doesn't do me any good. And then when I come down to here, this is where I explain what it is. And I'm going to put down, oops, vintage.
It's hard with an audience, isn't
It
it?
is.
It affects your spelling.
Okay. And then say Campbell's come in. I'm sorry, guys?
Would you want the Campbell's soup wood box instead of standard?
Wooden, I was going to actually put down wooden.
I wouldn't.
But I put the word soup after the
Before
word.
You mean you don't like wooden soup?
No, no, no. You're right. I would put wooden in the Campbell's. Vintage wood with Campbell's soup box. Put the wood.
If I knew you were going to be, you guys would be.
We'll get it sold for you.
English teachers, I
We'll
would
get
have
it
not done
sold
this.
for you. Put wood after vintage.
Vintage wooden.
Yeah, vintage wood with Campbell's soup.
Okay.
Next we'll give you a
We'll
hard
get it
time.
sold. You'll thank us.
Actually, it's best to use a font that is in there as, I mean, Saracen. See, let me graph this on this.
And this is what's written
I
on
don't
it.
know.
Now, why is Campbell's underlined in red?
It's because they don't like the way it's
It's fun,
Wait,
it's
spell
not.
it.
Because it's not in second word dictionary. It says there, I'll be able to.
That's what it says on it. And then I'm going to give this, it has box, joint corners, which apparently is a big deal. And then I have the dimensions. 18 and a half by, I should probably say 18 and a half long by 12 and a half wide.
Do you want to put the sign for inches?
Yes, I do. How's that sound? And
Well,
8 inches.
somebody might interpret it as.
Yes.
Well,
I didn't know you guys would be literally doing that.
Oops.
the clearer you
Oh,
are.
I agree with you completely. And I have this little sheet that I typed up before I left. I have inches on it. But I wanted to see if anybody was paying attention.
I'm a proofreader by trade.
And then, I'm going to say it again, vision as shown in photos. And then I'm going to also say shipping in domestic U.S. Now, I'm obviously limiting my self, but it just, I don't want to go back to the post office and find out how much it's going to cost me to ship it to France.
But it would be awful tempting if somebody from
Yes,
France offered $250.
The way I got started in this is that I'm actually on the board of directors of the library in Wilton. And somebody thought they were doing us a big favor and gave us this box of old stuff. And in it was all this 12-gauge shotgun reloading stuff. So I had, what were we going to do with it? So I looked at all these, took pictures of it, and decided that I would sell each piece separately. And one piece, there was this really ornate looking thing for, I said, for loading 12-gauge shotgun shells. Somebody from France bought it and said, I'm in France, will you ship it? And it was a small package, and I said, yeah, sure, okay. So I shipped it, and about 2 weeks later, I got an email from him, and he goes, I don't think this is a shotgun loading thing. I think it might be for corking wine bottles. And so then I did some more research, and I found out, which were some marks on it, that it was actually a thing for filling grease fittings on locomotives. And so I emailed him back, and I said, if you would like to send it back, fine, or how about I refund you half your money? And he goes, easy. So I just sent him on PayPal half his money, because it was just easy. I thought it was a shotgun thing, but in reality, the library netted almost $900 worth of this, from all the stuff. There was a cartridge belt that was a web belt with brass fittings all the way around the outside. Somebody, I listed it for $50, thinking that was worth, and it bid up to $220.
Can I just ask a
Sure.
follow-up? If he had not accepted that term, okay,
I would
what's
say
next
send it back.
representative? Would he have expected you to pay the return shipping? How would that work?
Probably, it was, but it was a small thing. The shipping was like $12, and I wasn't, it's just, I wasn't gonna argue with him. I'm not in
But I
business.
mean,
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't as representative.
no, yeah, I said it was like a shotgun reloading
Yeah,
thing.
because
He
that's
thought it
what
was a
you want.
corker. I never told him it was filling grease fittings. So anyhow, we did very well on that whole thing. And then there's this listing designer to add a theme, and I just don't find that any of that does any good for me.
What does it do?
It just puts a frame around the picture, makes it stand out. I don't think it does anything. And so you have a choice. You can have an auction or a fixed price. That other guy had his box for $155. Well, it's been on there since for about 2 weeks now, and no one has made an offer. And I'm going to start this, I bought it $55. If somebody buys it for $55, fine. If people start bidding it up, that's also okay. Now, I don't know if you know how, when you bid on these things, you can list your bid, and it will always also ask you for your maximum bid. So if I'm the only bidder and I bid $55 on this item, and there's no other bids, well, it'll stay $55. But somebody else might bid $56 with a maximum bid price of $100, and it will automatically kind of ratchet up. And you'll find that when you're bidding on these things, they always say how many days are left on the auction. And pretty much nothing happens till the last day. And so if you're really interested in getting something, and you know it's going to be like, there are things that I have bid on that I had to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning because it was something in California where somebody did it. And so at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm adding like 50 cents to this ridiculous thing, and finally I'm able to get it. And But that's all the action happens at the very end.
But if you put a maximum on it of 100,
You know, when you put maximum, you put a minimum.
right, but you say you can,
If I was bidding, I'd put a maximum,
then it would, like if somebody came up with 75,
I would go to 70, it would automatically go to
yours
76.
would go on automatic, you wouldn't have to stay up to do that.
Right. You could put your maximum bid, say if it goes over $100, I'm not
Then
in.
you're out.
It's automatic. And then when you wake up in the morning, you turn your computer on, you have a note that says you are now the owner of this piece of stuff, or you lost.
Then they have that thing that I've listed stuff, or I've bought stuff, and then they have an automatic thing, buyers, that last second,
Yes.
they put their bid in. And it's like, even though you're watching it, your bidding is computerized already, that they'll put that last bid in.
Yep.
I don't know what it's called, but that's.
There is a program
Yeah.
that you can.
Yeah.
By
So it's
how much
frustrating.
will it automatically raise your bid?
$1.
$1.
Okay, I am not gonna have a buy it now price, because I wanna get $55 for it, and if somebody buys it $55, I'm happy, but there's some crazed Campbell's soup collector out there who said, oh my God, that's the box that I need for my collection, who, you know, they bid it up, so. And you can pick the duration, you can go 1 day, 3 days, 7 days is pretty much what everybody does. I'm gonna start it immediately, so as soon as I finish this, the wheels go in motion. And in fact, when you get home tonight and you wanna watch this thing, or if you wanna buy it, you know, you can see that. Start immediately, and then they wanna know if you wanna donate anything, and I'm just gonna skip all that stuff. And payment method, I only accept PayPal. You never have to worry about it. You get a notice from PayPal that you received your money. And in fact, this whole system, you can print out a shipping label right from eBay. Generally, I don't bother. I just take a magic marker, write on the outside of the box, and take it down to the post office. And I know how much it's going to cost. Okay, shipping detail. You pick a category. The last thing I actually sent must have been a book, because it's media mail. Standard, United States, right? Standard shipping. And I'm going to put the, whoops, not free, and I'm going to put the price in here, $22. And that, you know, it's cost of shipping, but, you know, you can also add on, well, I got to drive to the post office, and I got to buy a roll of packing tape, and I got to buy some bubble pack, and so you can add all that into your shipping. In this case, I have a box that really fits it just perfectly, and I'm just going to wrap it with a couple of wraps of tape.
I've never done any of this, so you guys talk about the PayPal, how do you set that up?
You go online, and you go to Google PayPal, and this website will come up, and it'll ask you, and there's a thing where it says set up an account, and you can set up an account, and then ask your name and passwords, and it will you can either put money in a PayPal account, kind of separate, like you can say, I want to, you can actually, you know, use a credit card and put $100 in your PayPal account. Or you can do what I do, is I have it where it takes it out of a account that I have in a bank, that I know there's not very much money in it, so I don't ever have to worry about it. And then when somebody buys something and it's paid by PayPal, it goes right into my account. So you never see a check, you never see a credit card number, you just the money just goes in and out. And it's essentially, I don't know anyone who's had any difficulty with it.
Are there fees for the initial?
Yes, it's like 3% they charge. Everybody charges.
So why don't you just set up the account, is there a fee to just set up the account?
I'm sorry? Say that
Is
again.
there a fee to set up?
No,
the
not to
account?
set up the account, but every time
Only
you make a transaction, they take a piece of the action. Buying and selling.
Only when you sell.
Only
Now,
when
when
you
you buy
sell.
something, it doesn't.
When they buy it, you sure?
Yeah, I mean, if I buy
Okay,
something and I
yeah.
pay for
I
buying.
know when I sell something, everybody takes
It's just
takes
when you
it.
sell, not when you buy.
But again, it's like, how else am I gonna get rid of this box that's in my garage? And so if I have to pay somebody 3% or 5%, I'm just happy to be done with it, and it gets repurposed rather than me taking it to the recycle center to
That's
dump.
what it is, like 2%.
Yeah, and And let's see, so what else do we have here? Handling time, you can tell how long you're gonna do it. You know, you can, generally 3 business days, that means when somebody buys it, I have a chance to get my act together and I'll get the box taped and get down to the post office. But, yeah,
If you don't create an account with PayPal to put into your account, do they send you a check?
they can send you a check and then you can actually say that certified checks only, money orders only.
No, I'm saying if it goes through PayPal,
Yep.
does PayPal send you a check?
No, they put it either in your PayPal account, or in my case, I have a separate account at a bank, and it just goes into that credit card account.
So you have to have some means of
Right,
transferring.
right, and PayPal has it set up, so it's really simple to do, and it's password protected, and I don't know of anyone who's ever had any kind of fraudulent loss or gain. It just seems to work very, very well. Especially, you know, I mean, I hate to give somebody my credit card, or my bank card number off a debit card, because I may have thousands of dollars in my account. So I have just this one account that has a few $100s in it, and the worst thing that can happen is I lose that, but it hasn't happened.
So if you already have a PayPal account to buy things, it's just another branch off of that, do you would
It's
just?
the same number, same everything. It's the same password, the same everything. It'll just go into your if you have a PayPal account that you've been buying things, which I do, and then when I'm selling this thing, I want to get PayPal, it will go automatically into my PayPal account. I don't know how it works, but it does.
Well, I use a credit card to buy,
Mhm.
so if they're gonna give me money, they're gonna show credit on my